threw her out of their mansion in front of everyone, with nothing but her children and a small bag. He told her she was nothing without him. But what he didn't know was that the quiet woman knight would one day return, richer, stronger, and powerful enough to take everything he once loved. And when they finally met again years later, the man who once laughed at her was the one begging for mercy. This is the story of Zainab, the woman who turned betrayal into an empire. Before we start, take a second to like this video and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. And in the comments, tell us where you're watching from. We love seeing how far our stories reach around the world. The large mansion in Port Harcourt was shining with bright lights. Music played softly in the back. Expensive cars filled the driveway. Inside the compound, waiters moved around carrying trays of drinks and food. Guests were laughing, talking, and enjoying the birthday celebration of one of the most successful real estate developers in the city. That man was Kunal Adeyemi. People admired him. Many wanted to be like him. But on this night, something unexpected was about to happen. Near the center of the garden stood a woman in a simple but elegant dress. She watched the guests quietly while holding the hands of her two children. Her name was Zainab Adeyemi. She was Kunal's wife. Or at least, she thought she still was. Her daughter, Mariam, looked up at her and asked softly, "Mama, when will Daddy cut the cake?" Zainab forced a small smile. "Soon, might be patient." She had noticed something strange about Kunal that evening. Since the party started, he had barely looked at her. Instead, he spent most of his time talking closely with a young, beautiful woman standing beside him. The woman wore a tight red dress and expensive jewelry. She laughed loudly at everything Kunal said. Zainab had seen the woman before. Her name was Tomiwa. Before Zainab could think further, Kunal suddenly took the microphone from the event host. The music stopped. Guests turned their attention toward him. Kunal smiled confidently. "Thank you all for coming tonight." People clapped. He continued speaking. "Many of you have supported my journey from the beginning, and I appreciate that." Zainab felt proud listening to him. For years, she had stood beside him through every struggle. But then Kunal said something that made her heart stop. "Tonight, I want to make an important announcement." The crowd became curious. Kunal reached out and held Tomiwa's hand. Zainab felt a cold feeling run through her body. Kunal continued speaking. "This beautiful woman beside me, Tomiwa, is the woman I truly love." The guests murmured in confusion. Some people turned to look at Zainab. Kunal didn't stop. "In fact," he said boldly, "she is the woman who will now be my wife." Silence fell across the entire party. Zainab stared at him in shock. What did you just say?" she asked quietly. Kunal looked directly at her, his face cold. "I said what you heard," he replied. "Our marriage is over." Gasps filled the garden. Zainab felt her legs shaking. "Kunal, this is not funny," she said. "Please stop this joke." But Kunal laughed. "It's not a... I'm serious." Tomiwa stood beside him with a proud smile. Zainab's son, Yusuf, held her hand tightly. "Mama, what is Daddy saying?" he whispered. Zainab had no answer. Just then, Kunal's mother, Madam Adeyemi, stepped forward. She looked at Zainab with clear dislike. "This marriage should have ended a long time ago," the older woman said loudly. Zainab turned toward her in disbelief. "Mama, you too?" Madam Adeyemi shook her head. "You were never the right woman for my son. Look at you. You don't even look like the wife of a wealthy man." The words felt like knives. Zainab's voice trembled. "After everything I have done for this family..." Kunal waved his hand impatiently. "That's enough," he said. "You have stayed here long enough." He turned to the security guards. "Escort her out." For a moment, no one moved. The guards looked uncomfortable. "Sir, are you sure?" one of them asked. Kunal's face hardened. "Didn't you hear what I said?" Slowly, the guards approached Zainab. Her children held onto her clothes. "Mama, are they sending us away?" Mariam cried. Zainab felt tears burning her eyes, but she refused to cry in front of everyone. She lifted her head. "Fine," she said quietly. She turned to Kunal. One day you will remember this moment. Kunal shrugged. I doubt it. The guards walked Zainab and her children toward the gate. Many guests watched silently. Some looked ashamed. Others secretly recorded the scene with their phones. By the time Zainab stepped outside the mansion gate, her life had completely changed. She had entered the party as a respected wife. She left it as a rejected woman with nowhere to go. As Zainab walked slowly down the quiet street with her children, painful memories filled her mind. Things had not always. Many years ago, Kunal had been a very different man. Back then, he was just a struggling mechanic working in a small roadside workshop. His clothes were always covered in engine oil, and most days he barely made enough money to eat. But he had big dreams. One evening, while Zainab was closing her small food shop, Kunal came to buy dinner. Good evening, he said shyly. Good evening, Zainab replied with a smile. What would you like to eat? Kunal scratched his head. Actually, I don't have much money. Zainab laughed softly. That's okay. Sit down. I'll serve you something. Kunal looked surprised. You're giving me free food? Just eat before the food gets cold, she said. That was how their friendship started. Kunal began visiting her shop almost every evening. One night he spoke seriously. Zainab, I want to build houses. I want to own a big real estate company someday. Zainab smiled. That sounds like a big dream. Kunal nodded. Yes, but dreams are free. For a moment, they both laughed. But Zainab could see something special in him. You can do it, she said. Kunal looked shocked. You really believe that? Yes, she replied. From that day, Zainab became his biggest supporter. When Kunal found a small piece of land he wanted to buy for his first building project, he didn't have enough money. He was frustrated. This is my chance, he told her sadly, but I can't afford it. That night, Zainab made a decision that changed everything. She sold a piece of land her late father had left her. When she handed Kunal the money, he stared at her in disbelief. You sold your land for me, he asked. Zainab nodded. I believe in you. Kunal hugged her tightly. I promise you something, he said. One day we will both be proud of this decision. Together they started building what would later become Adeyemi Estates. Zainab cooked food for the construction workers. She kept business records. She helped speak with clients. Sometimes they worked late into the night. During those difficult days, Kunal often held her hands and said, "Never do this without you." Zainab believed every word. But success changes many people. And sadly, Kunal Adeyemi was one of them. That night after leaving the mansion, Zainab walked quietly along the dark street with her children. Mariam was tired and crying softly, while Yusuf looked confused and scared. Mama, where are we going? Yusuf asked. Zainab held his hand tightly. Her heart was heavy, but she tried to stay calm for her children. We are going somewhere safe, she said gently. But the truth was, she didn't know exactly where they would sleep that night. They walked for almost 30 minutes until they reached a small street filled with simple houses and roadside shops. Zainab stopped in front of a small food store made of wood and zinc sheets. An older woman was arranging pots on a table. The smell of fried rice and pepper soup filled the air. The woman looked up and immediately recognized Zainab. Zainab, she said in surprise. Is that you? Zainab forced a weak smile. Memar Ifunanya, good evening. Memar Ifunanya was a kind woman who had known Zainab years ago when she still ran her small food shop. But now the older woman looked confused. What are you doing here at this hour? And with the children? She asked. Zainab hesitated for a moment. Then the truth came out. They sent me away from the house. Memar Ifunanya's eyes widened. Sent you away? Kunal did this. Zainab nodded slowly. Memar Ifunanya shook her head in disbelief. That man has lost his mind. She quickly pulled out a chair. Sit down first. The children must be hungry. Mariam and Yusuf sat quietly while Memar Ifunanya served them warm rice and stew. The children ate quickly. Zainab watched them, trying to hide the tears in her eyes.